What it do, y'all? What it do, what it do, what it do? Happy Thursday. So anyway, it's your girl, Mocha Chameleon, a.k.a. Nairi Sanchez, right? So I just want to comment on something that I stitched earlier, right? There was a young man that was talking about, another culture or another race using the N-word and how he didn't like it. He was offended by it. And I understood that. I get it. I understand why we are the way we are, why we think the way we think. But what I don't understand is why we don't take all of these things that's happened to us in our past, in our present, in our history, and change the narrative by changing the way that we do things, by uncrossing all the things that we've been crossed with. For instance, decolonizing our speech, decolonizing our belief systems, decolonizing our traditions, anything that's tied to certain things that was meant to keep us oppressed or in a degenerate state. Why won't we uncross ourselves? So when I stitched it, I said, well, I understand why we would get upset at people using the N-word, but how can we get upset at it when we continue to promote it ourselves? We keep that word alive. We're the one, at this point, we're the ones keeping it alive. And I think it's sad that anybody will have a problem with me saying, or anybody for that matter, making a statement saying that we need to maybe ban the word and stop using it all the way around. Who gets mad at that? First of all, the word itself is connected to slavery. I don't care what people are trying to create the word out to be. The word N-E-G-U-S is not the same thing as the N-word. We're not even talking about the same thing. So I don't understand how people are trying to mix the two words up and get the same definition. We're talking about a racial slur. The N-word was meant to be a racial slur. I don't care how you try to flip it, bake it, stew it, boil it, barbecue it, roll it up raw. It was meant to be a degeneracy towards us. So if we are complaining about racism all the time, and we're complaining about being oppressed all the time, why is it that we don't see the need to release ourselves from holding on and continuing to perpetuate these traditions? Because a lot of the things that we do is still connected to the tradition of slavery. The slave mentality. We've been passing this down for generations. At some point, somebody got to crack that egg open. At some point, it has to be released. But why would anybody get offended at somebody saying that we should stop using the word? That's what I'm trying to understand. Who wants to defend something that's meant to be degenerate towards you? Why are people in this culture defending that? That's what I need to understand. Do anybody have an answer for that? Because the sad part is anytime somebody speaks out in this culture and says anything against something that is so deeply ingrained and we're so attached to these traditions that we get mad at people for speaking out about something that need to be addressed. We cannot continue to get mad at other people for using the N-word when we continue to promote it amongst ourselves. That is called passive-aggressive psychological dysfunction. You don't mind me saying it to you or you saying it to somebody else, but you got a problem with somebody else who don't look like you saying it. So if you still get mad at somebody else saying it, then that should tell you something. Maybe you shouldn't be saying it. To each his own. Because I ain't never going to try to tell nobody else what to do. And the thing is, we come together to cancel everything. We want to cancel rappers. We want to cancel singers. We want to cancel politicians. We want to cancel each other. We cancel everything. But when it comes to something that we should cancel, we argue and fight to hold on to it. Y'all don't see an issue or a problem with that in this culture? Y'all don't see that? Y'all don't see that a lot of the things that we continue to hold on to is connected to a tradition that was not in our favor? Not in our favor. So I'm not going to look at another woman or another person or a man that look like me and call you the N-word. When I started to realize how powerful words were, I instantly start checking my vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? And maybe some people just haven't reached that place yet, but then why not speak on it and give them something to think about? But I don't understand the aggression and the negative backlash of somebody saying that we need to get rid of a word that was always meant to disparage us in the first place. Why do we complain about racism when we continue it? We're perpetuating it. You don't have to agree. I'm just giving you my perspective, but this is what I see. If somebody was stealing from you and you knew they were stealing from you and you knew they were wrong, but you didn't say nothing, but then somebody else steal from you and now you ready to hurt them, that's passive aggressive. That's passive aggressive behavior. And if it's wrong for one person to do it, it's wrong for the other person to do it. See, we like to be selective. We like to be selective in what we want to support and what we don't want to support. But the bottom line is, say it all y'all want to. Make sure you put your hard hat on while you're saying it. Because you can't get mad at other people for not taking you serious when we're the only group of people who continue to embrace a word that was given to us and meant to be derogatory. We're the only people who do that, and then we get mad when somebody else who don't look like us do it, and we want to fight. Which I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling that way, but I'm saying if that's how you gonna feel about it, then that starts at home. Maybe we should clean out our own backyard so that we will have grounds for getting mad at other people for saying it. It's a racial slur no matter who says it. Even when we're using it amongst each other, it's still a racial slur. It's not going to take away where the word come from. It just is what it is. I feel like at this point we should be really pressing the issue about decolonizing our speech, decolonizing ourselves. Now, if you want to curse yourself every day, go ahead. That's not going to hurt my feelings. So for the people that got something negative to say and backlash towards me because I spoke on it, you not hurting my feelings. Write it down and put it on your wall and put it up under your pillow and sleep with it. That's not going to bother me if you do that. You're not hurting my feelings if you want to continue to use a word that was meant to curse you. Go ahead. All I'm saying is we should think about that instead of constantly perpetuating it as if it's okay for us to do it and then getting mad at other people when they do it. People treat you the way you treat yourself. We know that. We got all these slogans that we put in our vocabulary every day about every aspect of life, but we don't want to see it regarding when it comes down to a cultural problem that we need to break, a cultural habit that we need to break. And the bottom line is people treat you like you treat yourself. So if the world is watching us constantly use that word towards one another, you know, whether it's meant to be a derogatory way or it's meant to be endearment, whatever you want to call it, the bottom line is can't nobody take away the fact that the word and the term was meant to be derogatory. And that's the bottom line. It's a racial slur, and I don't care how you take it and how you flip it. It is what it is. So if you're not going to, stop treating yourself like that, I don't feel like that nobody have a room to get mad and argue about nobody else who used the word. Y'all know we don't own the word, right? We didn't invent that word, right? We are not the people who started calling each other that from the beginning. We're not the people who created that trend for ourselves. We're taking something somebody else did to us to beat us down with, and I understand why we cultivated it. I get it. I do. I promise I get it. But at some point, when do we let it go and realize it's just not good for us? When do we let it go? And then once we come to terms that we can agree on one thing in unity as a culture of people of letting that word go and banning it and canceling it, then we got grounds to want to go after other people when they say it. Because guess what? We don't even call ourselves that, so you ain't going to do it. But it can't be, we can only call each other that. Y'all can't do it. Come on now. That's mental, y'all. We can't do that. We got to pick a side, baby. Pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. That's all. I feel that it's time for us to decolonize. I love y'all, and I'm out of here. I didn't come to stay long. And peace.